morning, Marcy.
Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning, ladies.
We have a special guest.
Yes, this is Miriam.
Hi, everyone.
She is the third unicorn.
Yay!
We make a blessing.
We do.
We were just talking about how a group of unicorns is a blessing. So you're welcome, everyone.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
So this is Miriam, and she has been with us through all of these journeys. We met as massage therapists, and actually, you guys knew each other before.
Yeah.
I met you. When did you guys meet?
2005, I think, is when we met at Kenya Ranch.
Yes.
Yeah.
2005.
I know. Ooh.
I know we were
That's a
going to be best friends. I knew it then.
I
You're like, why do you want to hang out with me? I'm like, I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
I know she wasn't. You weren't 21 then, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's what was like 40, and she's
How old were you? 20?
8, 9,
19, 20.
and I'm like, oh yeah, she's inviting me to these things. I'm like, oh, that okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, the big age gap. Okay, but
That was so fun. That was so fun. I'm like, I just wanted you to be there. I just liked your energy. I don't, how do we know these things? I don't know. We just know.
it was so So it's been really fun. And the joke is that I follow her wherever she goes. So we were at Canyon Ranch. Then she went to Red Rock. Then I went to Red Rock. Then she went to Bellagio. Then I went to Bellagio. And that's where I stopped following her.
Yeah, she's like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to stay put. I'm like, okay, fine.
It's too much moving.
It is. It was every couple years.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep a job.
No, you were like reaching further and further.
I wanted, I guess we're always chasing a feeling. So I wanted more of what exactly, I don't know, but I just wanted more. It wasn't necessarily more money. It just happened to be more money.
Yeah.
But I just wanted more, whatever that meant. And now it all makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I met you guys in 2012, I think is when I started working at the Bellagio. But we didn't become friends right away because I was outside and you guys were inside. So it was like I knew who you were, but we didn't really meet. Got something in my eye. But when we would line up in the hall right before you go pick up your guests, and that's how I got to meet you guys. We went to Hawaii together. That was 2014.
Ageless Goddesses, I think.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling ourselves.
Yeah.
That's right. We read the book.
Yeah.
It was a book that we read, right?
Yeah.
To prepare for the trip. That's Joanne's way of preparing for things. Here, read this, and then we'll discuss.
That's awesome.
We all became ageless goddesses on that trip, and really, it changed my life. And I haven't wanted to let go of you guys. We just latched in.
Our lives, like our
Definitely.
friendship. I was just telling Marcy, I'm listening to an audiobook. This is our next one. It's called Big Friendship.
Oh.
So I will be forwarding you a podcast
Yes.
that talked about it, and then the book if you want to listen.
Of course I do.
Right?
Of course I do. Yes. I think you girls came around a certain time in my life where I was I'm like, I want to build a friendship. And I'm just like, how do I do that? How do you build a friendship? I don't know. Well, you invest the time and the energy, and you check in on people, you make them feel seen, and that's how it starts.
I love how the trip came together too, because it was my sister who had the timeshare, and they were not going to be going that year. She offered it to my brother and me. My brother said, "Oh no, not this year." So I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm going." And I didn't know at the time if I was like, who would want to go? I'm like, well, I could go by myself. I don't, But then, and then I asked Miriam, and because I had never been to Maui, she had, and then
Had I?
I think so, because we did the things that you had done before, like the bike.
Oh, yes.
The bike thing, and then it just all came together. and Marcy and the things going on in your life at the time. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. And Sandra too.
Oh,
Things,
love
and I
her.
was like, oh, I love seeing how that all came together. So
Oh my gosh, the photo of us like jumping and the
That was so good.
oh my gosh, I laugh at that every time I see it, especially the one with Joanne and up in her face.
you're gonna have to post that.
I will. Yes.
Oh, that's such a good picture.
It is. That's a good photo. Yeah, that was a magical trip. I feel like my life started then. Because I didn't even know. I think I was living somebody else's life up to that point, you know? So thank you for helping me like welcome myself home.
What a
You know?
treat for us to watch you, to
Because-
witness it.
Well, we've already known that about you. I'm like,
Yeah.
she has it. She just needs to
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Get it.
Yeah, that was just a gift. So, yeah.
But isn't it fun? Like, you don't have to be the same in order to vibe. Like, you kind of wanted in on it. And then we're just kind of having fun and exploring. But it all just works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like we help each other bring each other to like a higher vibe.
Listen, I think that our spirits like knew each other. Look, we're like 11, 11, 11. We're like 11 years apart, each of us.
Yes.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
like magic.
It
It's
is.
Yeah.
magic. Yeah.
And that's a real thing. I think we should go see someone about that.
Oh,
I really do.
Yeah.
For fun. For fun.
You're right. You're right.
You know, and then we can understand. Even though we already know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a big story behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
very
So who would be
interesting.
the appropriate person? Like a medium? Or that's dead people. But who knows?
numerologist or astrologer. I don't know.
I don't know. There's somebody out there that knows.
Yeah.
They'll have
we
to
need to-
let us know.
Well, Joanne, remember that picture you showed me in Japan? And I gave it back to you. I'm like, yeah, you already showed me that.
Yes.
That was so interesting.
Yeah, we were in Japan, and then my friend Yuko had some old pictures of me, and I couldn't even remember where they were from. Like, I didn't recognize where, I'm like, oh, and I couldn't, because she wasn't in the pictures. I don't know. I think maybe I had given it to her, or she had. And then, yeah, you looked at it and like you already saw it. And I'm like, really? Because I don't remember these.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm like, yeah, you already
Wild.
showed me this picture, and I asked you who those white people were on the picture, and I still don't know who those people are. Who were those people?
I don't know either. I'm like, where was it? Like, was it? It looked like it was like at a wedding or something. I'm like, I don't remember those people either.
Yeah.
Really.
So
Whoa.
interesting, right? When things like that happen.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, that Maui trip was the beginning, and then we went to Japan,
That was
and
fun.
that was a magical trip too.
Yeah.
Seeing a little piece of Joanne.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
I still think about that trip a lot, actually. Just pretending to speak Japanese, I'm sorry. And the guy's like looking at me. I'm trying to order food. And he's like, okay, just point. But I tried. I did try. It was just hard.
Well, we did learn a little bit of Japanese while we were there.
And they appreciate it.
And yeah. And the three of us walking into that ramen place.
That was so good.
And was that in, where were we? Was that
Tokyo.
here was it, or was it?
It was Tokyo. Yeah.
That little place where we
And we
ordered
bought
for
it,
8
and
people.
We'll take one of these and one of these, and they're like, okay, no, each.
You
So
ordered
we'll handle
3
it.
bowls of ramen, some chicken
Katsu?
karaage, and
Oh.
I don't know what else, but yeah, it was
Yeah, and we handled it.
Yeah.
The cook was like, I'm like, yep.
Yep, we handled it. And then we went and had, did we go have like ice cream after
Totally
that?
did. Yeah.
Probably.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. The food was amazing. The people were amazing. It was so fun to see a piece of Joanne, Okinawa, and
Yeah.
Wakayama.
Yep. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got to go to Rosarito and Ensenada. We did that bike adventure together.
That was so fun too.
And we got to see a little piece of Miriam and we met your family.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun too. A race that I didn't participate
I
in.
know.
But
right?
you had done it the year before, hadn't you?
Yes, I had.
Yeah.
My knee was locked up from the year before. But thank goodness the body heals itself, because right now I'm like, nope, no knee issues, no nothing, just time. But I couldn't do the race. I'm like, nope, I'll be there, of course. But I'm so proud of you girls. You did it.
So it was a 50-mile ride from Rosarito to Ensenada up a gigantic El Tigre.
Oh my gosh. I think that's the hardest thing I've done.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. It was
Yeah.
pretty hard. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I've done hard things, but
I'm so proud of you and how
50
excited.
miles.
Yeah.
And we started training in
May.
May. And
We
it was-
decided we were going to
yeah,
do 50 miles in May, and the race was
October?
October.
And I didn't even have a bike.
Okay, were we riding once a week? Was it only once a week? We went out to Red Rock and
Together.
Was
did
it?
like
Oh, that's not enough.
we did like 18 miles once a week to prepare for 50 miles uphill both ways.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's probably better that I didn't know how
Oh yeah.
how bad it was going to be. Like, because I thought, okay, I was thinking, look, like the elevation and all that. It's like, okay, I think we're done a pretty good job training. We should be good. But I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
you just take 19 miles and times it by almost 3 and we're there.
Oh my. Yeah. Oh, I was so tired because I didn't stop at all. I just drank what was there for me and the little packets that I had in my pocket. So at the end, and I don't like the taste of beer, but I had one of those micheladas
Yes, you
right
did.
at the end. I was so thirsty. Michelada. Am I even saying it right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
And it was delicious and refreshing.
I didn't even discover those micheladas till recently.
Ah.
Oh, yes.
Till this year, actually, early this year. So, but we haven't gone to Marcy's side of town yet.
Yeah.
We need to-
One day we'll do that. One day
yes.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, so Miriam, tell us, because we were thinking we should chat a little bit about what is it like to be a massage therapist? Funny stories. Do you have any fun stories to share? Massage therapist story
What is it like to be a massage therapist?
in Las Vegas.
in Las Vegas.
Okay. So it is definitely a really fun job. And I really enjoy my environments. It's almost healing for me too. It's very giving. It makes me check in with myself a lot because I'm always feeling myself. If I'm working, I'm like, oh, that feels a certain way, or oh, I feel strong here, or I'm always checking in with self. At least me. I know certain people tend not to, but that's a lot of people in any kind of field, really. What does it mean? It means that I get to really touch people from all over the world and learn all these weird pronouncing names, and I've gotten better at them. And when in doubt, say the fancier version of it. Right? That's always, they're flattered by that. And then they're like, no, it's just this. I'm like, oh, okay. Here I am putting in accents.
Like Mr. James or Mr. Jamais.
Jamais. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. I know that people come to our spas with really high expectations and really with the weight of the world on their shoulders. A lot of people don't do the care they should at home. So they come here, they're on vacation, and they're like, fix me. And you're like, okay, I'll try. and from a place of love, you can penetrate any kind of tension, therapeutically speaking, energetically speaking as well. But how do you give all of that love if you're not giving to yourself, right? So,
Okay, so then what do you do to keep yourself in that space that you can offer that to people?
ooh, well, I've learned how to pay attention to my body. When it's in pain, it's just, hey, you might want to, it's just trying to catch my attention. Like, hey, pay attention to me, heal yourself, feed yourself well, good foods. So how do let's see, I like weight training. And that's one thing I've been really consistent with at Raw Fitness. And Joanne and I started with the boot camp challenge many, many moons ago. And then I joined their strength program. It's 3 times a week, and I can stick to that. I love it. And even when I don't love it, I still love it. You know, that's really what I always go to. It's like my physical therapy, my strength training. So that's one way I consistently take care of myself. I'm always trying detoxes and meditation and yoga, and not always consistently, but I'm consistent in my inconsistent. So eventually, like, I'm always doing something to better myself. Does that make sense?
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
So right now, I'm in probably a little over a third into my 90-day little detox, and my goal is to just raise my vibration, because when you touch people, I feel like you have a certain responsibility. You should be as high as possible, because that's how you're going to influence your therapeutic work, the exchange with your peers at work, and your personal relationships, etc. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that's something that you are really good at. And then maybe that's why you change your routine, because you're so in tune. You'll notice and recognize it and say, hey, I'm going to listen to that. Now, how am I going to respond to that?
Yeah.
I think you're really good at that.
Yes, I am. And I'm also good at changing it up, like you just said. If something's not working for me, like as of lately, I started to meditate, but my brain wouldn't shut off. I'm like, okay, what can I do in order to be in that relaxed state without the noise, if I can't seem to push through the meditation? I know you're meditating and you're pushing through. I'm like, see, okay, stop. Look for something better. Okay, what's better than that? And I started to listen to I am affirmations, and that brings me peace. And I sit there, or I'm like preparing my meals for the day. And so just be mindful of where you are. If your mind's just cluttered, don't sit there and torture yourself. I'm sure there's benefits to go through that and then quiet your mind. But also check in with yourself. If this is not your path of least resistance, try something else.
Yeah.
You know, just because somebody says you need to sit there for 20 minutes doesn't mean you need to sit there for 20 minutes and
Right.
torture yourself. You know,
Right.
So
Right. Finding what your match is.
yes.
Yes. And thank you, both of you, for introducing me to Abraham Hicks.
Oh my goodness! Thank you, Joanne. That was so good. And it's
Yeah.
all about vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so intuitive. It's like Marcy said earlier, coming home. Oh, it's like coming home.
Mm-hmm. So we were all massage therapists in 2019, and then 2020 came, and we all experienced that different, going back to work after being like the world shut down, and we all experienced that different. So what was your experience through that 2020? Share that journey
Oh,
with
man.
us, because that's amazing. You were a rock star.
Okay, I did learn a lot during the time, but let's start off with, okay, there was layoffs, right? And I knew there was unemployment. I have never collected unemployment. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. How do I do this? Where do I file every week? What? Anyway, so here I have money coming in, which is fabulous. But I'm like, okay, I can't just sit here and do nothing and not use my tools. I know about strength training. I don't want to lose my strength, that was my main concern. I don't want to lose my strength in massage and anything. So I did enjoy the time off, 3 months of unemployment. But then I'm like, okay, it's going to end soon. So what do I do next? And I'm just sitting there like, what do I do next? I'm like, oh, I can get my license in another state. And the year prior, someone that used to work at Bellagio, Anthony, had come into town for a wedding. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. And he told me how much he liked it out there in Utah at one of the Amman resorts. And I'm like, I should messenger him. And I did. And he's like, yeah, we're always looking for contractors. I'm like, perfect. So here I am getting my license in Utah. And then the guy I was dating at the time, we took a road trip there. And, for my interview, hands-on, check out the place and where I would stay. So on the way back, I look at this person. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be my weekly drive up here. And all he does is looks at me and he's like, yep. So it's like a reality just sunk in. And I'm like, okay, I got this. I need this. I want to pay for school and etc.
And mention how long of a drive?
Oh yes, just like a 4.5 hour drive. No big deal.
One way.
One way. And and then I would stay out there and work 2 or 3 12-hour shifts, 9 to 9. And I'm not staying an extra night. I want to come home. So after work I would drive home and I would sleep probably in Hurricane or in Mesquite. Believe it or not, sometimes I had to stop in Mesquite and take a little snooze because I wanted to be safe, So yeah, I napped my way back to Vegas. The road, though, there was a lot of crying, like a lot of cracking my heart open and processing. It was a good time, but good doesn't always mean oh, it's good. Mm-hmm. It was just good for me. What else would you like to know about?
Wow. Well, you were thinking about living there. You loved it so much.
I got so excited because the mountains, it's so beautiful out there. And there's no traffic. You're just part of the environment. It feels like. But housing is an issue. There are rentals, they're really expensive, and most of them don't want any pets. So I countered a lot of barriers. Finally, I just surrendered and said, okay, I'm coming back home. So I was doing that for 9 months, and then I took this past June 2021 off. I'm like, I'm going to job hunt in Vegas. Here we go. And prior to the pandemic, I had auditioned and interviewed at the Encore, and I got my job back there. I had worked there prior for about 5 years or so. And so regardless, that wasn't a guarantee that we were going to move forward from an interview that would happen a year prior. So I am like, okay, here we go. I'm going to hit the pavement and blah, blah, blah. So luckily, they honored my interview, my audition, and we just moved forward with processing. And I got rehired at the Encore, which I've been there since late June, and it's a good place to be. Yes.
Well, you're back doing the things that you love and the place you love. So what's your next big dream? Because you've been dreaming. What's your next big dream?
I have been dreaming. Well, you two are an inspiration. I love the women you're becoming. It's just so good to see. It really is. And I would like to go to life coaching school one day. I'm just taking a little different route. So right now I'm studying psychology at UNLV, and that should be coming to an end, a successful end here in the spring. And I would like to continue to grad school. It's what did I call it? The clinical counseling program. And that will allow me to get licensed in the States and become perhaps like a family counselor. I can teach, I can work at schools, just be in the environment of youth. Youth is my passion. I feel like if you can catch these beautiful humans young and really tell them how beautiful, remind them really how beautiful and they are and how smart and how their ideas are valuable, and whatever they find joy in, if they nurture that, they can pretty much do whatever they want, Anyway, so I'm like, But that was inspired by my time with my little sister at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America program. And she, if I'm not mistaken, I think she'll be 17.
Wow.
Oh my
17.
goodness.
She was like 11 when I met her. I'm like, and we had Halloween plans. We're supposed to bake cookies. And she's like, oh no, I have a job. And obviously that's not how she said it, but I'm just making up a story. She's like, no, I'm working at the pumpkin patch. I'm like, you're working at the pumpkin patch? You're not old enough to work. Oh, yes, she is.
How cute. She's all grown up.
She is all grown up. And I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I can relate more with the youth than I do with people that are not dreamers. Does that make sense? I can relate to dreamers, and usually children are still dreaming, so I really like them. So my environment, my work environment is important to my health and my well-being, right? So as a therapist, like, I really enjoy the setting and the music and how that influences me. So that's what I carry with me. Like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Oh, I want to do this. But what's my environment like? I will be around the youth. I will be around a sea of dreams. And I really like that energy. I like that vibration. That's really
good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and my counseling might have like whatchamacallit, a life coach twist to it. I think that would be really good. I think it's very relatable, it's very intuitive, and it teaches people and the youth that hopefully I'll be working with how to mind their feelings, like what's going on, mind their thoughts that create their feelings is what I really wanted to say. So,
well, I think that's really important to catch them right there. You know, what a gift that is to know, like at that age, that, listen, I don't need to blame the world for how I feel right now. I get to create whatever I want. And the magic of, if I don't feel happy right now because of whatever's going on, if I'm not happy, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to smile and laugh your way through it and pretend that you're good, you know?
And also, instead of distracting yourself with like the social medias and whatever else they use, right?
Right.
Yeah, just sit with that emotion.
Giving them permission to just be. That's such a gift. And it's great that there are people who do relate better with this group of people than that group of people, because we need people in all of the groups,
Right.
you know?
Totally. Totally.
Right. And I think that's fantastic. And you're going to be amazing at that.
Yeah, I already feel very joyful thinking about it. And a few of my friends have mentioned, like, oh, would you want to do, like, work with mental illness? And at the time, my thoughts took me to, like, a dark place about that. I'm like, I don't want to be surrounded by, like, really sick people. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, those are my thoughts about it now because I don't know much yet. But it doesn't have to be that. So I am also minding my own thoughts and feelings as I'm growing too. I'm growing too. I'm learning and I don't have it all figured out. And that could also bring me joy. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
So,
right. But it'll come before you, and then when it does, you'll know.
Yes.
When you're in there.
Yes.
I think we're all there. My mom used to say, if we knew it all, we wouldn't be here.
Totally.
And how boring would that be?
Right. I know. There's no reason. Yeah. So how do you know that you're on the right path?
I can tell you. So I've been, paying attention to vibration, and there's a chart that I shared with you girls about all these feelings, and I've been working with my coach, Tavish, and we're talking a lot about thoughts that create feelings, so I'm paying attention a lot to that. So this chart of feelings, it relates to the vibration, and I am most of the time I'm at peace with things, and I didn't realize that peace is really high up there. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, so that's how I know that I'm on the right path, is when I'm at peace, when and yes, I do get stress. I feel like an undertone of stress, but that's just me being a human and handling things like school and work and finances, etc. But overall, I'm totally at peace. Yeah. That's how I know.
And I think what I observed is that you can pivot pretty easily. So I think that's a big reason why you can find that peace, because you don't get stuck on hanging on to this one thing. It's like you go, and then maybe there's a little obstacle, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, let's see what else is out there. And it's like every time something else pops up in front of you. So I think that's really a gift, where you can like let go of old things, or things that it's like, why keep beating the horse when just go another way, find another way, like how you handled the pandemic. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I would have like that thought of commuting to Utah, and like who does that?
It was hard, but it was fun. Yeah. And then I had bought my Jeep like 2017, and I'm like, this is why I bought it. Yeah. It's to use her. Right. And just
and there's always a reason, like like you said, you cried a lot. You were listening to audiobooks and all kinds of things on the road, and that really, I think, filled you with a lot of things that you needed. Mm-hmm. So it's like more than just going to a job. There was so much more happening.
So much
more. And you experience that a lot because you're willing to just, okay, well, let's turn and keep going, and you can see what happens. I think that's one of the things when we were in Maui, I started to learn from you, was that of surrendering to those kinds of things and being present, mm-hmm. and letting things happen. And we had so many moments of, oh, look, as if everything was happening just for us.
Look, that was our big motto.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
If
right.
if we were in a big group and something great happened, like these flowers that never bloom are blooming, it was just for us, but you're here to enjoy it. So you're welcome.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that was so fun to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, you taught me a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Joanne.
yeah, you're just like the sparkle.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like we're just an amazing team. We really are.
We are. Yes. I'm so glad we finally got you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Woohoo! I'm happy to
Yes.
be here. This is nice. A nice setup. Tea.
Well, if you had one piece of advice for these people who are looking to, follow their dreams, what would it be?
Well, one advice, just one.
Narrow it down
Narrow
to
it down.
one piece of.
All right. I would say, just like Joanne was saying, you say that I pivot easily. And that's
Well,
Emmy.
Emmy agrees. You pivot easily.
She's like, what, what?
Whoop, whoop. Who let the dogs out? So I do, and at times I was judgmental about it because I'm like, am I trying to program myself to like look for the easier path? But like Abraham Hicks says, yes, you go to the path of least resistance. So what's wrong with that? But I did sit in that psychological, like, what am I doing to my brain? Am I programming it to just look for easy solutions? But they're not easy. It takes courage to go with the flow because that means you have to trust and have hope, or what is it, faith, or both. So one advice would be is just be like a stream, and if there's an obstacle, just go around it and keep going. That's it. It's
Yeah.
very
Nice.
Path of least resistance.
path of
Be
least
like water.
Be like water. Yes, I'm sure somebody has it in some book, but
Yes.
be like water.
Yeah. Because why do we do that? Make it. No, it's got to be hard. If it's not hard, then it's not good. It's like it could be easy and good.
Yes, it can.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking to both of you.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Thank you.
Well, have a beautiful day, everyone.
You too. Unicorns unite.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.